Hi, this is Mark from GiraffePad, and today I have the pleasure of speaking with the awesome Simon Linard. Simon, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you, Mark. Welcome, or thank you for having me. Even
No. It's always great, and obviously you and I speak very regularly. You're one of our users that gives us lots and lots of feedback and input into GiraffePad, which is awesome. But obviously we sometimes go on a few tangents to a favoured sport, don't we? So I'm going to really make a commitment today that we stay on track and we talk about your business and about GiraffePad as much as we can. So take that as a cue. Simon, tell me a bit more about your business rather
sure.
than football.
Okay, we'll keep it professional and we'll leave football
Yes.
to another day. So yeah, I run SL Training Development. I set SL Training Development up in 2011, and I specialise in the delivery of qualifications. So my it links to my background as well, which I'm sure we'll talk about. But I deliver qualifications in teaching, training, assessment, and quality assurance. So they are vocational qualifications that are for people that are coming into training or teaching for the first time, that are maybe assessors or apprenticeship assessors. So we now do a lot with endpoint assessment, and there's a quality assurance suite as well. So they're all vocationally related qualifications that I use for the delivery of basically UK based and international vocational qualifications.
And how did you get into this street? How did you get into training, I guess, as a first place, and particularly this sort of area of the industry, if you like?
I sort of got into training very early in my professional career. I came out of university having done a degree in sport and fitness, and I
Oh,
thought I'd
okay.
walk straight into a really nice high paid job. But I had to start and work my way up, which was great. But I started training probably within a year. I started to deliver training because one of the areas I was working in was the leisure facilities, where we had to train our staff in first aid and as lifeguards.
Of
So
course.
my first venture into training was first aid training, and I became a lifeguard trainer as well. So, which I absolutely loved. It's probably some of my favourite training I've ever done over the years, particularly back then when I knew no different about training. So it was great. So we would be training all of our staff to required qualifications so they could work on poolside and obviously, support the rest of the facilities as first aiders as well. So through that time, it was very early, and that gave me the bug for training. It really gave me that insight into actually what else is there to do in terms of development as a professional trainer. And over time, I got fed up with working shift patterns in the leisure industry, early starts, late finishes. So I got approached to go and work for a training provider, and
Okay.
that was that shift to a training role, which again I thoroughly enjoyed, and worked for that provider for 10 years before setting up on my own.
And what was the prompt to set up on your own and take that big step into being self-employed, if you like?
Yeah, well, it's as you know, it's a big step, isn't it? So, sort of 10 years in, I had a really good grounding with the training provider I was working for. I started as an assessor, and then worked my way up to a senior manager and looking after the quality assurance within the organisation. And as part of that, I was training all of our staff to become teachers, trainers, and assessors. So as we were bringing new staff in, my responsibility was to train them. So setting up my own business was something I'd thought about for a couple of years almost, because I was getting to a point where I needed to do something else, either
Yeah.
go to a different training provider perhaps, or go out on my own. And because I enjoyed then and enjoy now, obviously, those types of qualifications, I carried that on and set up my own business to offer that to clients. So it was a nice move, a nice transition from something that I really enjoyed in terms of internal staff training, and just transition that out to go and working with different clients.
And if I think back to maybe last year through 2019, and we would probably communicate at least once a week, but you were always somewhere different in the country or even abroad. You seem to be traveling all the time. What's changed for you in the last few months? Because obviously that's not optional or possible now.
Sure. Yeah. No, I've travelled a lot over the last 9 years, or coming up to 9 years. An integral part of the business has been going to clients and delivering training. So obviously that stopped in the middle of March, and like everything else for everybody,
Yeah.
we had to put the brakes on. So it was a shock to the system, but over time, I've adapted a blended learning model where, although I would do some face-to-face delivery, I'd also be doing some stuff online with learners once they'd started the program. So we were starting to get there. And then about 18 months ago, I took the decision to move all of our courses as online programs as well. So I was fairly comfortable when we hit the lockdown and the pandemic really hit the peak, that I could offer our courses and the qualifications to our learners through an online facility that we already had in place. So I was probably ahead of where I needed to be, still tweaking, still developing like we all are, but I didn't have to panic too much because I knew everything was already in place and I could still get learners onto programs, and I have done over the last 3 months.
Fantastic. It's fantastic you were so prepared. It's almost like you predicted it 18 months ago.
Well, I can predict, if I can get the lottery numbers, that'd be even better. Euro millions, that'd be nice.
That would be nice, wouldn't it? Absolutely. So, I mean, I'm talking about the last year and a half, but I guess it's probably been almost 2 years now that you've been using GiraffePad in your business. So how does it work for you particularly, especially in the way that you work? So.
It's been a real benefit, and I'm really disappointed that you didn't invent it sort of 9 years ago, Mark, because that would have been really helpful. Yeah. But it's amazing because it does exactly the things that I need it to do. You know, everything I've done over the last sort of 8 years has certainly been face-to-face training, and you know, pre-planning and sending out information to learners was always part of the process. But now GiraffePad and using the functionality of GiraffePad makes it much more simpler, consistent, and also professional. So I've really benefited from using GiraffePad because I can use it not only for my face-to-face delivery, which was going on over the last 2 years, but now with my online learners who are coming in, and we can complete their inductions for them as seamlessly as we did before, but without me having to travel.
Yeah, absolutely. Which isn't optional, but like you said, maybe you're not missing that. And in terms of your learners who are going through this qualification process or the assessment process, how do they find using GiraffePad? Do they give you any feedback at all? Or?
Yeah, so the learners that we've used GiraffePad with have been very complimentary. There's the standout piece of feedback is how professional it is. So again, that's compliment to you guys, but also helps me because I want to provide that professional service like we all do, and give learners a good first impression when they come onto a program and sign up for the qualification. So to have regular feedback saying how professional it is and that everything's in one place for them, they can access all the materials, all the resources, all the information they need is really beneficial. Because over the years, I've tried different systems where I was sending out information via email or sharing it via Dropbox or sharing it via other platforms, and it was very disjointed. This just now consolidates that process because I've got to start them from induction and get them to a point where they complete a qualification. And they know GiraffePad is their go-to place for all of the support that I give them along the way.
That's fantastic feedback, and fantastic for me, I guess, because it's one of the main purposes behind GiraffePad is saving you have to go all over the place and keeping it just in that one place entirely. So if I put you on the spot, Simon, right now, and straight off the cuff and say, of all the things it does for you and the way it works for you, what's your standout feature? What's the thing that sort of makes your life easiest or best, if you like, from using GiraffePad?
There's a few. So can I have two?
Go on then, twist my arm. You can have two.
Thank you. My top two. My top two is resources. Number one is certainly resources. The fact that I can share resources with the learners so easily and so simply. As I said before, at induction, I'm giving them a lot of information to start them off on the program. And the fact that I can share documents, links, videos straight away with them and have that consistent is really, really good. So they get all the information they need, and it gives them the opportunity before they actually come and have their induction. They've got some pre-reading to do, and it's all in one place for them. And I can always add resources as we go, and that's really, really helpful. And in the days of face-to-face delivery, or the back way when we were doing face-to-face, adding all of the resources from an event. So all the flip chart images, all the photographs. A big advocate for taking photos in the training room of the learners doing things as well. So activities. So they're again going into GiraffePad as evidence towards their qualification.
It's funny you say it almost seems like a different world, doesn't it? When we could be in a room and have flip charts and be working with people. Seems like, I know it's only probably 2 or 3 months ago, isn't it? But it seems like a different world entirely.
It does seem a lifetime ago.
And
And
do you
it's
know, you've reminded me something about GiraffePad there is that I remember whenever the group would leave a room, so whether you'd done a whole day or 2 days or half a day, they'd leave the room and you look around the walls, there's so much learning in there. And if you don't capture
definitely
that, it's kind of like 70% of it's just gone, isn't it?
exactly, and that's the key. I mean, when I run the course for teachers and trainers, that's a big part of that. It's saying, look at all the work you're getting your learners to do. You need to capture that, and you need to share that with them because
Mm.
you don't want it to be forgotten. That's some great work in a classroom. And
Absolutely.
that sort of links to the sort of second favorite
It's
feature.
your second
You
favorite.
said I could have two.
Yeah.
And that's cloning events. So the feature that you
Okay.
put in for cloning events was so valuable because it allowed me to be consistent with my delivery. So cloning events, just changing the information for the group or the learner, the dates, the times, etc., was very, very easy to do. But I was able to keep the messages and the consistency to the materials that I provide to learners in one place. So having that feature has been really, really, really valuable because they don't miss out and I don't forget to give them all the information that they need. So it's
Yeah. So
a
it's
real
the same every time. That's fantastic.
real time save and real benefit to peace of mind to me that I haven't forgot anything.
Yeah. Yeah. As long as you get the first event right, every other event is exactly well, not the same, but you give the same information out every
Same
time. Fantastic.
information, yeah. And it's for me because it's qualifications, it has to be consistent. So there's,
Yes.
I'm getting scrutinized externally in terms of the awarding organisations that check the quality of what we do. So one of their checks is induction. So if we provide a good induction and I can provide evidence of that, that's a good flag for them. So
Yeah.
that process has been really valuable.
You've been such a fabulous asset to us as one of our users over the 2 years because you regularly give us feedback, you give us ideas, you're really happy to get involved and test out new features. And you know from our conversations that we've got a roadmap that's as long as my arm with plans and features. So again, if I put you on the spot, what would be your ideal feature to add in? Maybe something that doesn't do right now that you would like it to do in the future. What would that be?
Sure. I know your roadmap's very long and windy and very big, but again, that's testament to you guys that the fact that you are continuously developing GiraffePad. So the one thing I would say, something that maybe brings in assessment a little bit more, because I'm working with the qualifications that I am working with, I have to provide evidence and learners have to submit quite a lot of work to complete their qualification. So
Yeah.
some way of segmenting out evidence where they can submit that and it can be assessed and feedback can be provided by me once they've submitted it. And I think with the introductions of programs, having that segmentation out now is going to help that. But yeah, certainly a tool where I can do assessment, feedback, and sort of unitize those assessment activities.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting actually because there's a couple of things. One quite imminent in terms of work we want to do around the resources, but in the longer term, that sense of having a particular segment that's for a purpose. For you, for example, assessing the work they've done, the assignment. For someone else, it might be a video they need creating, whatever. We want to create that flexibility in there so you can build. It's almost allowing you to build the learning journey you want for your
Sure.
participants rather than having it fixed as it might be at the moment. So
Yeah, no,
okay.
without a doubt. And then again, that's the testament to the development plans that you've got in place. And again, it keeps it, like I say, it's that whole learning journey then, which is ideal.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I think we both need to give ourselves a gold star because we haven't mentioned the our favoured game once in this whole conversation, which is amazing. Simon, it's always a real pleasure to chat to you, and I really want to say a big thank you for being a great user over the last couple of years, and hopefully for the next few years as well.
Without a doubt, without a doubt. And I'm on the journey with you because it's been a great journey over the last 2 years. So yeah, I look forward to seeing the new developments, and yeah, we can talk football another day.
Absolutely. Brilliant. Thank you so much, Simon. We will speak soon.
Thanks very much, Mark. Take care.
Okay, bye then.